All right. So now that we know the learning target, we're going to use it to solve the question. Now, so this long equation right here represents the equation of a circle. All right. And so this is a polynomial. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms in it. So this is a 6-term polynomial. Now, and so what we have to do is we have to make it look like x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equal to r squared. So we have to make it look like that. So we're going to do some algebra to it to make it do so. So we know that the 144 represents r squared. So r squared equals 144. How do we know what the length of the radius is? Is we take the square root of both sides. So the radius is 12. Now, what we're going to do is take the equation that we have and we're going to use some algebra to find h and k. All right, so to find h and k, what we're going to do is break this into two pieces because we have two variables. We can't solve for both variables at the same time. So we're going to break it into two pieces. And those are the two pieces. Now, so we're going to work with them separately. So what we're going to do right here and right here is we are going to unsquare them. I'm going to unsquare, which means undistribute them. So we're going to break them into two factors. All right, and so you remember from Algebra 1, you have a squared, which is called a quadratic. We are going to factor it. And so what you do is you ask yourself, what two numbers give you 64 and add to give you 16? So there's multiple ways you were taught this in algebra. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn it through the guess and check method right now. So what two numbers give you 64 and add to give you 16? So this is what we're working with. What two numbers multiply to give you 64 and add to give you 16? Well, 8 and 8. 8 multiplies to give you 64. 8 adds to give you 16. So that's what our factors are going to be. So we have to keep our x and our x. And we have positive 8 and positive 8. So it's plus 8 and plus 8. That gives me this when I multiply it together. So here's the multiplying together. All right. I'll show you why that works in just a second. But how many of those are multiplied to itself? It's 2 of them. So this turns out to be x plus 8 squared. Okay. And so down here, we're going to ask ourselves, what multiplies to give me negative or positive 1 and adds to give me negative 2? Well, negative 1 times negative 1 gives me positive 1. Negative 1 plus negative 1 gives me negative 2. And so this multiplies or factors out to be y minus 1, y minus 1, y minus 1, y minus 1, which gives me y minus 1 squared. And so what we have here is we now have this portion and this portion of our circle equation. And so my circle equation is x plus 8 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 144. And so my center is dignified by the 8 and the 1. And so remember, this is negative y minus h, x minus h, y minus k, which represents my center. So this is going to be negative 8, because it's the opposite of it, and 1. That is my center.